Coming to you live from WebinarCon. We just finished up the 5th ever WebinarCon. It was absolutely awesome. I'm sitting here in the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Listen, you got to come next year, okay? So webinarcon.com, I have the site up and running soon. It'll be in November. This event is just amazing. If you want to learn how to market with webinars, then this is a place. But I also want to talk to you about compliance. So today it's just me on this episode. Greg's not going to be joining us. And look, as I attend my own event, learn a tremendous amount, listen to impeccable speakers, great marketers, legends of our industry, but I'll consistently see violations that are happening. So in this episode, I'm going to go over the top 10 violations that I see happening on webinars all the time. And by the way, I take full ownership of the fact that a lot of these were happening on my webinars as well. And if you go read the complaint letter that the FTC had written about me, you'll see they called them out, some of them. All right. So let's start with number one, improper disclosure at the beginning or lack thereof. Okay. So look, one rule you have to remember about disclosures is a disclosure disclaimer cannot and will not protect you from making violations. This is the irony of disclosures and disclaimers, okay? So just because you put a disclosure or disclaimer there doesn't mean you can go break the rules. But if you don't have the disclosure or disclaimer there, you're breaking the rules. So irony, right? But at the very beginning of your presentation, you need to have a proper slide that lays out the facts that this is a training product, that the results are not typical, that whatever you need to say, and that needs to be worked on with an attorney. Speaking of it, remember, this is my experience. This is just what I've learned from Greg and my personal experience. I'm not an attorney. Everything I say ever should be checked by an attorney. That's on you, okay? So you want to make sure your attorney has helped you write that slide, and you want to read that slide. So number one, improper beginnings of webinars, very important. All right, let's move to number two, flat out misrepresentations. Okay, so you ready? These could sound innocent to you, they got called out in my particular complaint letter, and I've seen them called out in other people's. So you got an evergreen webinar. It's running on autopilot. It's not actually live, but you're using the recording from when you did it live. So now you're on this evergreen live webinar, which is not live, and you're saying things like, we're live, and we have 1,000 people on, and hey, Sally, hey, Joe, hey, Mark, hey, Mike. Sally, Joe, Mark, and Mike aren't there. You're not live. There's no 1,000 people on, not at least when it's being consumed in its marketing environment, and that is classic misrepresentation. They don't like it. White lie, blue lie, red lie, doesn't matter. It's a lie. And so if you're going to do an evergreen webinar, the right way to do it is to do a presentation and to not insinuate that you're live. As a matter of fact, we don't even call it a live webinar. We don't say register for this live workshop. We say register for this webinar presentation, right? I've now gone to the point of saying, hey, this isn't live. I just feel it doesn't make a difference. People know it, might as well lean into it. All right, so there's other misrepresentations you can make. We'll cover them. I've given them their own titles, but misrepresentations, little white lies, are a problem. Number three. This is the biggest one. I swear, I feel like this is the biggest one of them all because they have been out there with the bullhorn saying this is our problem. Results-based testimonials. Most webinars I ever see are littered with them, okay? Sammy made this much, Sally did this, Jonathan did this, and look at Michael, and look at Peter, and look at Muhammad, and look at Ali, and that's gotta be substantiated first and foremost. Most people never have. I have to ask those people to give me proof that they made that or they had that result. It's not just money. It could be weight loss, it could be whatever. If it's a result of any kind, you have to have proof. They have to send you proof that your training got that result. Now also, is that the result of the typical customer? The FTC was saying in the past that results not typical, that little statement you put at the bottom of the testimonial is enough. It's not anymore. They flat out said, if it's not typical, you can't use it. So I no longer do results-based testimonials at all. I just do general character and experience-based testimonials. So if you have results-based testimonials in your presentation, that is going to be the number one thing that they're going to hit you on. They're going to call you out on. That's what they did with me. That was what they wanted to know about when they sent me the first investigation letter, because they have been clear about the fact that they have different rules now. You got to follow them, okay? Number four, cross-pollination of testimonials. So testimonials shows up again. Yes, that's right. 2 of the 10 have related to testimonials. So here you go, okay? You've got a product A and you got product B. They're similar. They're by you. You're the trainer. You got lots of testimonials for product A. You don't really have them for product B, but they're similar, and you're the trainer. So what do? You take the testimonials you received from customers for product A and you pop it into the webinar for, for product B. Not allowed. It's a made-up review as far as they're concerned. It's a false review. They will act as if you literally just made it up because you put it in a product that it's not about. The customer did not make a representation about that product. They made one about the other one. You can't cross-pollinate. Now, the only time you can cross-pollinate is if the testimonial is about you. It's a character-based testimonial. If it's like, hey, Anik is great, Anik is awesome, Anik always delivers, he's awesome, blah, 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 and you have permission from that person to use it across your different products, then that's okay. But you can't talk to the education and the training of that product. All right, number 5, lack of substantiation. All right, I got hit on this as well. So look, when we're on a webinar, we start spewing out numbers, right? 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Please, for the life of me, make sure you have proof of that. Make sure you have the study that you need to note. Make sure you can prove that that's actually true. Anything you say that is an absolute statement in a webinar, that is a fact, a stat, a best of, an all of, it's got to be provable. It's got to have substantiation, okay? When, and God forbid, if you get hit with the FTC, they are most interested in substantiation. They are the most interested in saying, hey, do you have proof for all of these things you're saying? Where did you get these numbers and these stats and these assumptions from? And if you don't, and you're making absolute statements without substantiation, it's clear grounds, clear violations, the easiest thing for them to come after. Okay, number 6, negative net impression with your own results. Okay, so I get marketers that say, fine, Anik, no problem, I won't use results-based testimonials, but my results I can prove, I can back up. I have sold over $100 million worth of products. I'm gonna talk about that. Now, here's the deal, you can. I'm not a lawyer, get your lawyer to double confirm, but what I've understood, it's okay, if I have factual evidence that I've sold over $100 million worth of products, I can say that. But what context, with what context am I saying that? So what's very important here is to understand that I can say it as long as the context that I'm using is just for my own credibility. But if I keep every 5 minutes, 10 minutes talking about my results, I keep showing my results. This is what I see in a lot of webinars. People keep showing their results every 5 minutes. They throw up some new proof of their results, whether it be income, whether it be trading results, whether it be weight loss, whatever. They keep showing there's littered throughout the presentation, big results, big results, big results. You're creating a negative net impression. What do I mean by that? You are now using your results, substantiated or not, to create an impression in the mind of the person watching that they indeed can get those same results as well. Fair or not, don't shoot the messenger. This is how it's received and this is how it's viewed. So when I use my own results now in presentations, I say it once, twice, whatever, and I say it very clearly. This is not to make you think that you can have these results. This is to have you understand my credibility and that why you should be listening to me. That's it. I'm so clear. Nobody, in my opinion, could have the wrong net impression. Number 7, overselling. Oh, what's that? It's a new one. We haven't talked a lot about that on this podcast, but today we're going to talk about it. Overselling is when you get a little ahead of yourself, okay? Anybody can do this as long as you give us a few hours a day. This is the best product you could possibly imagine. You can get results from this if you just give me your time. You're going to regret this if you don't take action today. You'll never have an opportunity like this again. So you know those statements that you just, man, when you really get into it and you're selling hard, someone's like, and listen, if you can't make a decision today without having to talk to your wife or your husband, then you're not really that serious. And if you don't buy today, right now, you're not serious about your future. Things like this are what we call overselling. They're pushy. Right? Not anything you said particularly is a violation. Those words are not a violation, but the context in which they're being used. You're pushing someone to make a decision that may not be the best decision for them. That's a violation. All right, number 8. Oh, I love this one because every marketer loves to do this, and I was guilty as charged up until a few years ago as well. Value stacking. All right? Now, I will say, thankfully, I had cut most of this out before my investigation ever even began. But we've all been there, right? Hey, this is worth $2,000. This is worth $3,000. This is worth $4,000. This is worth $9,000. Collectively, this package is worth $21,000. Today, yours for $500. Here's the thing. That's a clear misrepresentation in the eyes of the FTC or any other regulator, and it kind of makes sense. Where did you get that value from? How is a PDF that was written by AI worth $2,000? Your experience, your investment into it, you can't cockamamie your way into a value. The way you can establish value is if that very thing, that PDF, that thing specifically was bought by a representative volume of buyers at $2,000. Not it was part of a $2,000 program. It was a bonus of a $2,000 program. If that's the case, you can't say it has a $2,000 value. You could say, I've given this away as part of a program that costs $2,000. You gotta be careful, right? And then again, there you have to say how you say it. The net impression could be you're still saying the same thing. Values aren't really necessary. Personally, I ripped them out of my presentations a long time ago. Didn't see a sizable impact in my conversions. Certainly not from the right audience. The type of people that probably buy from that hype are the wrong audience. Now, I've had multiple people in our community communicate to me that they also have done this and not seen an impact, negative at all. So let's remove that hype and bring some transparency and honesty back in. I'm sorry, but your digital product that's delivered via online is probably not worth $32,000. Okay, let's go to number 9. False qualification. This one's an interesting one because I see marketers do this all the time, and quite frankly, I've done it a few times myself as well, very innocently, never knowing that this was a problem. So one of the things that the FTC specifically doesn't like is when you make people feel like you're going to choose them, select them. You are the chosen one. So when you say, hey, keep watching this presentation to see if you qualify to work with me. What the hell is a qualification? The fact that they can breathe and have some money? They're on a webinar. Anybody can purchase at the end of that. That's not qualification. You could say, keep watching to the end of the webinar to see if this is a good fit for you, to see if this is the right thing for you to do right now. But qualify, that carries with it selectivity. Qualification means you feel they're more inclined or likely to have success with something. It's got a whole nother connotation to it. So if you're booking calls, hey, book a call to see if you qualify to work with us. Come on. They qualify to have money. That's really it, right? So this is something that Greg teaches us. He hates this word, qualify. He's made me remove it from every part of my marketing, and I've never seen an impact. I love removing it. So I no longer do false qualification on webinars. I don't pretend that someone is being chosen to purchase my thing. I just tell them, you choose if you want to buy this or not. You're the best character judge of whether this is right for you or not. It's great. All right, number 10. Last but by no means least, fake scarcity. It's another type of misrepresentation. I see it on many webinars. Only 15, the next 15 to buy will get this bonus. But it's like on an evergreen automated webinar. You know for a fact that they're giving it to everybody who's buying. That's a flat out lie. Whether it's an innocent white lie in your mind or not, it's a lie. And if you're on a live, a lot of times you see people do this, and then guess what? They give it away to 38 people. So I like scarcity. Urgency is important. There's nothing wrong with urgency. There's nothing wrong with scarcity. It's not illegal. It's got to be truthful. So when I'm on a webinar now, if I'm on a live and I do scarcity, which I do, I make sure my team tracks it. If I say 15 spots only, 15 spots only, what I do is at 15, it cuts off. We have a record of it. We take a spreadsheet with those names and we put it and we say, these are the only 15. Now what I'll do is, let's say I added a bonus, right? And the bonus is like this big. What I'll do at number 16, to be fair to those who maybe didn't move fast enough, is I'll say, hey, I got to honor my promise. So I'm going to reduce the bonus. Now for the next 15, the bonus is this. And that's okay. But you got to eliminate that primary bonus that you gave. You can't just extend it because they will say, and you can actually, by the way, there are people, customers suing companies. So it's not just the FTC. There are now customers suing companies because they're saying that the false scarcity forced them into a sale that they wouldn't have bought before. So there you go. Listen, WebinarCon was an absolutely amazing event. I cannot recommend this enough. It's full of advanced people with advanced content. It's so different than most events. Come next year, you'll love it. I promise you that. We'll be talking more about it as the event's coming up. It'll be in November of 2025. And keep these rules in mind, okay? You absolutely can convert on webinars compliantly. All right, ethically, truthfully, you'll attract a far better type of customer who will spend a lot more money with you. I'll see you at WebinarCon. And what do I always say? If you want to be a giant, go compliant. And when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. Next week, we'll have Greg back. Can't wait to be back in the office in the studio. See you soon. Bye.